nice older blocker body wash. It's so powerful it can block BO for 16 hours. Its blocking power is as powerful as me.
Yeah, it is.
Who said that? Is that my left bicep? No, it was my
abdominals.
Older blocker body wash is too powerful to let this commercial in. Block. Building kit. Explosion! Power!
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Raleigh, North Carolina event here, 2010 MLG StarCraft 2 PC Circuit event. We actually have an interview with the winner of the last game. Day 9 is actually standing on the PC floor.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2010 Major League Gaming StarCraft 2 tournament. We have our very recent winner in the winner's bracket, LZ Gamer, 2-0 against Cats. I actually want to ask about the second game first. That game seemed to go really well according to plan, and there was some kind of funky counterattacking going on at the later stages. What were your thoughts about your second match?
Well, it was a really odd game in the first place. I mean, I know a lot of people know my style, how I love doing this Reaper build that I kind of invented, and no doubt. Yeah. So, anyways, and so I knew that they were going to try to kind of like blind counter my opening. So even though they made roaches, you can still kind of micro around and make them put enough pressure on them to where they skip drones and stuff. So, but it turned into like I didn't do very much damage at all, and he got a really good position, and he got an attack right before my stem got done. It got done like mid-fight. And I had to use all my SCVs pretty much to fend it off, and so it was just a lot of lucky situations and stuff for me. So,
and of course, I have to know, the viewers have to know, what did you think about the one base fast infestor play from Cats in game 1? Killed a lot of SCVs in your main. Did the infested Terran launch onto your natural expansion? Have you experienced anything like that? How are you able to defend so well and mount a big counter push?
I had not seen anything like that, and honestly, I don't even know what build I was doing that game. I kind of was like, I'm going to do this, and then I made my add-on, and then I'm like, no, I'm not going to make Reapers. And then I just had no idea what I was really doing. I was kind of winging it, and then I had no idea what he was doing. I kept scanning, looking for like a proxy spire maybe or something, and it was an infestor, and I didn't even see that it burrowed into my base, so I don't even know when that even occurred. So I just got really lucky, and it's kind of how it happened.
Do you think more Zergs could build on that, and it could be a very effective standard in the future?
Oh, absolutely. Like, infested Terrans do so much damage and are really good harassed for a mineral line or something. I really think, that for like a mid-game type of harass would be really well.
Well, that's all for the winner's bracket action. Just wanted to give some brief updates. Natagas went 2-0 with In Control in the most recent series in the winner's bracket, and Noni losing 0-2 to a player named Og. So those players are in the loser's bracket. A little bit of surprises coming up, but let's go right back to HG and Husky up in the front for some more Cast in action.
All right, thanks, Day 9. Yes, we are back. A great interview there. It's always nice to hear what the players were thinking, how he didn't even have a build order in mind. He was just kind of winging it, and he threw me off. I thought he was going to go for those Reapers because he is known for going Mass Reaper against Zergs, and it's kind of a double mind game where the player's like, well, I'm going to counter his playstyle, and LC's like, no way, man, we are not going to go standard there. So that was pretty interesting to see him play that on the fly, and again, I like how he didn't even realize there was infestors inside of his base, and he just played it off. It was interesting to watch that game because those infestors were going completely unchecked, and they did kill several SCVs. I think one of the fungal growths got about 6, and he never scanned them, never found them, and it didn't throw him off of his game. He was able to push out and just win it, and then in game number 2, he was able to hold his own. There was that counterattack by the Zerg player, and he, like you said, he pulled his SCVs there to defend it, and he did absolutely fine, and there was no reinforcements because Cats decided to actually double Expo to try and get a huge economic gain, but then that allowed LZ to push out and was able to secure the win.
LZ's patented Reaper build, the 5 racks or 3 racks Reaper, whatever you want to call it, he loves to harass with Reapers against Zerg, and it's proven to be very, very effective. So congratulations to LZ Gamer for advancing forward, and of course for Natagas for taking out In Control. So that was kind of an unexpected win, but hey, Natagas is a great PC gamer in general, and he's able to advance forward, so congratulations to him. And now we are going to be going back to broadcasting the next match here. It is going to be a very special match. It's going to be a TVT Gretorp versus Silver.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of good TVTs on Steps of War. It seems to be the map that for some reason the games get drawn out, and so we should probably most likely be seeing a lot of siege tanks, a lot of Vikings, and you'll see the map get split in half a lot of times, especially in TVT on this map. And so yeah, Gretorp and Silver, both very well known. We'll talk about that a little bit once we get the game ready here, but both are very well known in their own right, so I think that this could go either way.
All right, so let's go ahead and get the match started. I think the players are ready, and Gretorp is going to go ahead and start this game. Now, I do want to say TVT, we have seen actually TLO play very creative TVT style. He likes to get nukes,
on
believe it or not.
Too.
On this map as well, he loves to use nuclear warfare, and that's kind of, hey, that's how humans fight against humans. They use nuclear weapons and tactics, and that's really cool because you can use nukes to push the siege lines back, force the enemy to unsiege, fall back, and then push forward and gain some territorial control.
Absolutely. So Gretorp is going to be spawning down in the bottom left side as, of course, well, Red Terran. It is a Terran versus Terran, and in the top right side is going to be Silver, the blue player. And I want to touch on that nuke you were talking about there just a little bit. A lot of Terran players are uncomfortable going that style of play, but it is really, really effective on this map. I just want to show really quick, if you can get a good nuke right on this larger ramp, you can force them back into a choke, and then you have great map control. And so you will see Terran players do that, and so I don't know if we'll see that this game, as the little one definitely stands out. Although I do want to mention Silver is someone I've cast a lot on my channel, and he is a very strong player. He's gone against players like Huck and Idra, gave them a run for their money, even beat them. And so do note the Rax is actually going down first here for Silver, and I don't believe Gretorp is doing that. No, he's going to be getting his supply depot.
Yeah, Silver opening up with what seems to be our 9 or 10 racks here, so relatively early barracks. I do also want to say that the player Gretorp is a very well-known streamer on TL.net, TeamLiquid.net. He's very famous with a lot of his viewers, obviously a very strong Terran player in his own right. And hey, TVT, on this map, I do want to say one cheesy opening that a Terran player can go for is a Thor rush. Just walk the Thor out with SCVs like 4 or 5 on auto repair and just push forward with a Thor. It's a very powerful opening on this map, and it can be very difficult for an enemy Terran player to stop. So look for that to be a possibility. I'm interested to see what Silver's going to do here with this early barracks. He's just now thrown the supply depot down. The advantage to getting this early barracks out, of course, is getting that orbital command out a little bit earlier. He is sacrificing a bit of his econ, though, so we'll see if that allows him to catch back up.
Silver just now getting his gas, while his opponent Gretorp did get his gas extremely early. He started that bad boy right before the rack, so we're definitely seeing a higher tech build from our bottom left player Gretorp against a more kind of just macroing and getting that barracks out as soon as he can in the top right side. So two very, very different play styles, and we'll see who can actually pull this off more efficiently. And again, this map in TVT a lot of times does get drawn out, so can Silver with his early racks pull something out to early win this game? Maybe he's not comfortable on this map, or we'll have to just wait and see. It does, though, look like he's going to push out with his Marines here fairly early, as he already has 2. There's no add-on on the way, and he just killed that scouting SCV, so his opponent Gretorp knows that there is a possibility of an early rush. It is very common to push out with an early Reaper and about 3 or 4 Marines, so we're just going to kind of see what kind of push he turns this into.
Another possible opening for these Terran players is also getting a fast starport down. Gretorp down in the bottom left-hand corner has thrown down the factory already, and air control is so important in Terran versus Terran, because if you can get Vikings out, they give you 1 additional range on your siege tank, which means that they can outrange and out-siege the enemy siege tank. So he is getting that starport down, and look for Gretorp to try to establish air control. Vikings are so crucial in Terran versus Terran because of that helpful plus sight to your ground forces on when they push out and when they try to out-siege your opponent. Looks like Silver did get a tech lab on his barracks. He is going to get an initial Marauder out. A lot of Terran players like to do this, get a couple Marauders out. Marauders are great against siege tanks. You can stim and snipe with the Marauders in a large enough batch. He is getting stim pack as well, and it looks like, meanwhile, Gretorp is getting a Hellion out of his first factory. His starport is almost done, and look for him to either get a Banshee or just pump Vikings. It looks like he's going to take the tech lab, so he is going to try to get an early Banshee out of this starport.
Unfortunately for Gretorp, that tech add-on is a little bit far away, so his starport does have to fly all the way across the base to land, and there he goes. He is going to be getting that Banshee. Very common in Terran versus Terran to try and get air superiority. You can use the Banshee, like you were saying, to spot as well as kill siege tanks, and Marauders are very good against the siege tanks as well, but it is just all about the positioning. If the siege tanks are in a line and you try and run in there, it's lights out for those Marauders, but if the siege tanks get caught out of position and they unsiege, then the Marauders will just melt through them. So expect to see a lot of micro back and forth once those units do start to spawn. However, there are 3 Hellions now for Gretorp, so he wants to try and push out. However, he is going to run into these Marauders, which are not going to be happy to see these Hellions, although the Hellions are going to be much more sad as the Marauders will be just fine. Do note that Gretorp's actually looking to possibly secure an expansion. Yes, that does go down right now, so continuing that macro style, we saw a more standard opener here, while the Viking now is on the way for Silver. Should have no trouble with that Banshee, which there it is, right there, flying out across the map. So I think, though, that Silver should be able to hold this unless he gets way out of position.
Here we go. Gretorp going to engage the Marauders, but those Hellions are just so weak against those Marauders, and Silver actually forced to fall back. He doesn't have the sight range because that Banshee is providing range over the weeds, over those bushes, and that was the territorial control of Gretorp right there. Great positioning when he engaged. Got a little lucky as well. Silver forced to fall back now, and he does have a Viking to deal with the Banshee, but he needs to keep this tank alive against these forces, against that Banshee. If he can snipe out this Banshee, then the tank should remain alive in the air, and it looks like it's real close. Gretorp still has 2 units inside of Silver's base in the red, however, and unfortunately for Silver, he doesn't have anything to deal with the Banshee, so this is really bad. He could take a lot of hits. He's getting a Raven out of this starport. Not sure why he would get a Raven. I guess he could get a defense turret down to take care of this Banshee, but this Banshee's just going to rack up kills, currently at 10 kills, just continuing to pop away SCVs. 2 shots kill every single worker, and this is really making a dent in Silver's economy. 15 Harvesters under 27.
Man, like I was saying, he will be fine unless he's out of position, and that really did not play into his favor. That Banshee has 2 HP remaining, was able to kill a total of 12 units, a lot of those SCVs. That could not have gone worse for him. He had the perfect unit composition to counter that. However, his units, I guess the positioning was too poor, and every unit that, it just basically went into Gretorp's favor there, was able to kill almost all the units he needed to do a innumerable amount of damage there, and now he has his own expansion. The second orbital command has already completed, and all we see is more barracks down for Silver. So Silver is actually extremely far behind right now, and that, to be honest, I wasn't expecting him to have this happen, simply because he's beat players like Huck, he's beat players like Hydra, and he has very, very solid game sense. And I guess just right there, though, that shows you how much one messed up battle can really cost you in StarCraft 2.
All right, important to note that Gretorp has left that Banshee, which did rack up 12 kills at the top left-hand corner of the map right now. Look for him to possibly recontrol that and bring it around, swing back into the main, and try to snipe out some more SCVs. Gretorp has a huge advantage right now. He has 2 mining bases, whereas Silver is only at 1. A scan goes down to see exactly what Silver's up to, but man, Gretorp has 35 Harvesters over 20, 2 mining bases, 1,200 minerals per minute over 700. He's looking to be in a very strong position. He also has air superiority because Silver only has 1 Viking. If we look at the unit tab, he has 1 Viking, whereas Gretorp has about, it looks like he has 2, and he also has a Raven as well. Ravens for PDD are great against mass Vikings. Those PDDs just block all the shots. And here we go. Silver's going to try to secure this natural, but oh, Gretorp losing one of his initial Vikings right there to the Marines, and that right there could have been a very costly mistake because every Viking counts so much in Terran versus Terran. He could have just lost air superiority right there.
Especially in the early game, you have got to keep those Vikings alive. I'm not quite sure what they were doing out there. They just kind of seemed to do their own thing, fly out across the map. I mean, sure, he did make Silver stem, but really, you got to keep that air superiority, especially once the siege tank numbers start getting a little bit out of control. You definitely need them, and we do have the Raven flying down here. Possibly could drop some turrets. Only enough energy for 1, it looked like, or just wanted to get out of there because of that missile turret, and I think it's not going to get too many kills there. It did kill a couple of SCVs, wasn't able to force down those mules in time. So you will see this very commonly, the Ravens flying in to drop those turrets, doing some mineral harass, which is another reason, I mean, just add it to the list of why you want enough Vikings to be able to not only guard your army, but as well as your mineral line. However, it does look like Gretorp has satisfactory defenses here, 1 missile turret at each base, so he should be okay, and the expansion is just now going for Silver. That's something we have to keep in our minds, is that Gretorp has been able to keep that expansion, his own expansion, completely mining 100% for a really long time.
All right, Gretorp now at 48 Harvesters over 25. His economy is nearly double that of Silver. I think we're just waiting for him to try to win this game or just end this game in a couple of minutes here. I don't see how Silver can get back. It's going to take some divine intervention for him to really get back into this game. He needs to possibly go for a double expand because his army's at 66 under 99. He needs to go for a double expand or something bold.